Have you ever encountered a hurdle with launching or growing your business? Listen, there are two things that run a business, the back end and your soft skills.
Telling you right now, if these aren't in place, you'll lose clients and you'll lose money. You don't want that? Well, you're in the right place.
Hey, I'm Dana.
Hey, I'm Sarah.
We're your hosts of the Entrepreneur Encounter, and we're going to give you a behind-the-scenes glance into our businesses, give you genuine feedback, tips and tricks, plus occasionally bring on guests that care about supporting you to grow your business organically and nurturing authentic relationships. Are you ready? As entrepreneurs and business owners, it's important to recognize that it can be overwhelming to navigate through a number of tasks, meetings, and deadlines that come our way. In this fast-paced journey of entrepreneurship, we need to understand that it is important to prioritize our well-being in order to achieve long-term success. I feel like I want to emphasize that again, prioritize our well-being.
Yes.
But this can be different for every single person. Like there is no cookie cutter way to prioritize your unique well-being. So welcome back to another episode of Entrepreneur Encounter. We're your hosts, Sarah and Dana. And in today's episode, we're going to explore some self-care routines and practices that can have an impact in your day-to-day life to promote better mental and physical health.
Definitely, I know I need better self-care. I've started to color. I know a lot of people don't really like to color, but I need a creative outlet. And I've been having like creative blocks because I used to write a lot and that was my way of keeping sane, but I just haven't been able to focus lately. But that's going to change this year. And speaking of which, a morning routine, it's not about just waking up early. It's about setting the tone of your day. And when I was talking about writing, I used to get up and write, just to write, not to journal necessarily like my thoughts, but I'm a creative writer at heart as far as like just writing short stories and all that stuff. Some may meditate or exercise. Creating these habits, it's not going to only boost your productivity, but it also sets a positive mindset for the day ahead. So when you wake up and you think like, well, today's going to suck, well, then today's going to suck because you're setting the tone. So you can wake up whatever time you get up, but as long as you set that morning routine, obviously you're creating those habits. So Dana, do you have some sort of morning routine that you do?
I am the queen of routine. So I actually I don't even know if I've talked about this before, other than briefly saying that like my Google Calendar looks like a rainbow. But on my calendar, I have a block because I get up around 6. I really probably should get up at 5:30, but I have a prep for the day block. And in that is general things like start breakfast, get ready, those normal mompreneur things.
Yeah.
But then I have walk for 15 to 20 minutes. I can't read. I have discovered I cannot read in the morning. I will fall asleep. Can't do it. But then, so that's my pre-work routine. And I've been discovering indoor walking workouts essentially. So I just do that for 15, 20 minutes to try and like get my steps in. And then when I drop off all the kids, I come back. Then depending on what my morning looks like, if I have meetings right away, I will. If I don't, then I will do a 20-minute workout on an Fit On app is what it's called, linked in the show notes. And then I will finally eat breakfast and sit down at my desk. And then my last like routine that I've been really implementing is before I do work is I will say a positive mindset mantra for the day and almost repeat it a few times as I'm like looking at my calendar and making sure like things are going well or pulling up the 5,000 tabs that I need to work throughout my day. I really started implementing that when Denise, I think, we had her on and she talked about it. I revived my love of mantras so that I could like start on a better mindset. I'm really working on retraining my brain and like my thought process.
That's always good. Yeah. Denise did give some awesome insight about affirmations and mantras to help you set the tone for the day. Also, another thing that I do is listen to music. I have to put music on then start my day. Because if I don't listen to music, then that just throws everything off. Also, another way to help with your self-care and well-being is your work-life balance. Or I would say it's like a life-work balance, because when you started your business journey, you started a business because you wanted to have a better life. You wanted to be with your family. If you have kids, you wanted to be there to be more present. So typically, I believe in the corporate worlds, they say work-life balance because obviously you work 9 to 5, you have that every day. But when you have your own business, typically you start your business so that you can have your life. Your life is first, then your work. So that can include like setting clear boundaries between your work and your personal life, making sure that you're spending time with your friends and your family, have hobbies. Because I know at one point I didn't have any hobbies. I felt like I was just working, coming home, kid stuff, going to bed. You almost become like a robot, essentially. Like you go into the office, you come home, then you go to bed. But I think hobbies are a really good way to create that balance so that you're doing something outside of your work and actually creating a time to relax. I know over the holiday break, it was really hard for me to relax. There was like a few days where I didn't do anything and I felt almost guilty. But then again, you need to relax to be able to like reset your minds.
I think that's a symptom of just being an entrepreneur and a mom at the same time. Or really a parent. I don't want to single out moms because I was raised by a single parent, but it was my dad. And he was always busy doing something too until his health physically made him, he had to sit down. He had to rest and like let his body heal. So I feel like that's just like hard to do in everyday life. But what I've been enjoying, honestly, I want to say since 2020, is there's been a big shift of people are tired. Like,
oh yeah,
as a whole mass of community, whether you're an entrepreneur or you work in a professional office, whether it's at home or in a brick and mortar building, is that work-life balance is so, it's not even trying to even say it's trending, but it's everywhere. Everyone is trying to slow down. Everyone is trying to stop filling their calendar to look like a rainbow and filling it with more blank space. Mine looks like a rainbow because I color-coded the blank space.
Yeah.
Mainly so I knew nothing was going to get filled in there. But like even like on my TikTok and my reels, like I'm seeing a lot of individuals, they're buying land and living in tiny homes, or they're learning to garden and like having these boundaries and these hobbies that make them slow down. You cannot rush a garden by no means. You can't rush homeschooling. You can't rush certain things. Like you can document it and like maybe it'll go viral, but you can't rush that part of life. And the fact that we're trying to find that in a way is really awesome. And if we're stressed out in our personal life, it flows into our work life.
Yeah.
If something with work is stressing us out, like you're losing a client that you didn't know you were going to lose. But I've lost clients that they had a financial tragedy. So they had to make some hard decisions and cut services, which then affected my financial situation.
Yeah.
That's stressful. And that would lead into, well, now I'm stressed and overwhelmed. Like I'm considering not playing with my kids or skipping dinner and cooking with my kids so that I can figure out a game plan that honestly, that problem will still be there tomorrow. It's not going to fix itself.
Yeah.
So figuring out that balance and that boundary is uber important. It is very stressful, but it can set the tone for the web of entrepreneurship and parenthood and anything else that you have going on.
For sure. When you were talking about how everybody's trying to find that space to slow down, I think about it as being obviously simple, the simple life. Going back to like the early 90s, what did we do? We drank from the hose outside. We didn't stay inside. The reason why I'm saying this is because right now, like in this time, even driving down the road, everybody's in a rush to go nowhere. Like things take time. And a lot of the things that happened like when we were kids, growing up in like the early 90s, obviously, yes, we were a kid, but even talking to my dad, things were not as rushed back then. So like trying to teach that to my kids, it takes time to do things. It takes time to learn. Like they're learning how to ride a skateboard. It's going to take time. They only been on it for 2 days. So you have to like figure out, again, that balance, knowing that whatever stage you are in life, some things are going to take time. Because I know when I started my business, I thought I was going to make a lot of money. And I thought I was, no, like, it's not an overnight thing. It's not, unless, you know, people that have money, that's how, I don't know. Now I'm just going on a tangent. But yeah.
Bring it on. I think we're going off of that and like easily segue. So work-life balance, honestly, that thought process for a lot of people is uncomfortable because you're going to have to change something. You're going to have to let something go, or you're going to have to add something to your routine. Even something small is uncomfortable. So I think that's where the commitment and accountability comes into play. And an easy way to start that, I think where a lot of people start, is with exercise and nutrition. These are important areas for your overall health, especially if you work from home or at a desk all day. Incorporating some sort of physical activity into your routine and like focusing on healthy foods can play a big role in your energy levels and your cognitive function. But this doesn't mean you need to hit the gym for 45 minutes to an hour and somehow fit that into your day. It can be fitness snacking is what I recently saw. So instead of taking one big block of time for an hour, you utilize like 20 minutes or less increment. So like I was saying earlier, in the mornings, I try to walk around my house for 15 minutes. Am I going to hit a mile in that? Probably not. I probably could. I haven't actually tested it, but I'm walking and moving my body for 15 minutes. Sometimes I have my AirPods in and I'll play music while I do it so I don't wake up everyone else, because it is kind of my me time. So honestly, you may see me dancing in the living room to myself in my own silent disco. But it gets my body moving and I feel a little bit better throughout the day. I'm not as exhausted. I'm not trying to run a marathon. I'm just trying to like wake my body up.
Yeah.
Then like healthy food. I've always been a big like fruits and vegetables person. I just have a hard time. Like at the end of the day, I want to end it with something sweet.
Oh yeah.
So small change for that is I've bought, as much as I hate to do it because I'm like, ooh, buying in bulk is cheaper. But for me, I'll eat that giant bowl of ice cream and then just wonder, what did I do? I eat all my things. So I have bought smaller pre-portioned things that gets me the need that I want of something sweet, but I'm not eating a giant troll-sized trough of ice cream and keeping myself in check. So I'm going to throw this out to the listeners because I'm sure everyone has an opinion and everyone has suggestions and tips that they've learned for themselves that I truly believe may help other listeners for the podcast. So tell us what you do. How do you implement exercise in your workday? How do you sneak in those fruits and vegetables if you're someone who doesn't typically like them? Shameless plug, and I know he's not going to listen to this, but I throw in vegetables all the time. So like if we're doing spaghetti, I will puree and liquefy bell peppers and zucchini and throw it in the sauce. They have no idea. And now, honestly, half the time they're like, this is so good. And I'm like, well, it's my secret ingredient.
Yeah. So funny that you say that, because a lot of times kids are very picky when it comes to, I don't want to eat that. Like my kids will eat up salad like no other. I've never seen kids eat so much salad.
That's funny. Not my kids.
Yeah. A few years ago, for a while, when you go to relax at night, you want to eat something sweet. So I used to eat like candies and cookies and like all the sugar stuff. And every morning I was waking up feeling like crap all the time, waking up feeling like almost like hungover in a sense, but it was just from all the sugar.
Ooh.
And obviously not doing its thing correctly. So I stopped doing that and I don't wake up feeling like that anymore. So typically like I'm trying to have more water intake before I go to bed. And if I have a snack, make sure it's somewhat healthy and not like super loaded with sugar. So yeah, I think eating healthy definitely helps.
Attention service-based entrepreneurs, unleash the power of Pinterest with a professionally optimized business account. In case you're new here, my name is Dana, co-host of Entrepreneur Encounter, and I want to be your Pinterest setup specialist. Together, we will tailor your Pinterest presence to your brand and audience, optimize your profile with captivating visuals and descriptions, develop a strategic pinning plan to reach your target audience, and then integrate Pinterest with your other marketing channels so you can repurpose instead of working harder. Then, if you love your Pinterest account setup, I do have ongoing support packages for continued success. So if you've been wanting to unlock Pinterest potential for your wedding planning business, contact me at my website, ddvirtualmanagement.com, and we can get started. So some thought process with diet and exercise, and I'll have to research, but I think it does strongly correlate with your mental well-being as well.
Mm-hmm.
Self-care isn't just about physical health. I know that's the one that people focus on the most, but it's equally important to nurture our mental well-being as well. So going along with the slowing down and filling our calendar with blank space so that we can have a moment of clarity, these are basically stress management techniques like mindfulness, deep breathing exercise, talking to a professional, whether that's a life coach, business coach, a therapist, anything else in between to help when needed can make a huge difference on how we navigate the challenges of just personal and professional life. One of my favorite clients, essentially, she's a high-level life coach, but her premise was forest bathing. So she would meet her clients outside, rain or shine, hot or cold, they would go outside, whatever they talked about, but it would be like so that they could get the energy from nature.
That's awesome.
And align themselves and ground their bodies with the energy that nature provides. I know when I'm stressed out, when we go walking, I am one of those half crunchy mamas where I'm walking around barefoot so I can feel the grass and the dirt and the thing.
Yeah.
Because I like how it feels. It does make me feel better until I get a splinter and then I'm like, all right, well, we're done with this. But being outside and like feeling those textures really does make an impact on me. And it does help me to be more attuned to my breathing and to slow down a little bit better.
Yeah, that definitely helps me, especially like working all day. Like I need to go outside. Like that definitely helps. Another thing that is overlooked is rest. It's not just about sleeping. It's about just giving your body rest. Especially when you start off as an entrepreneur, you feel like you need to just keep hustling and hustling. It's like this hustle culture or whatever the term is that we keep hearing, that you got to keep hustling to be able to be successful. No, you need to take care of you to be successful. So on the weekend, take some time to rest. I used to work on the weekends because I was not bored, because it just gave me something to do, but I realized that needed to stop. Sometimes I'll work on the weekends. It just depends on what's going on. But it's really important to understand that you need to rest. And also you need to get some good sleep and then take regular breaks and allow yourself enough time to recharge.
Rest, I feel like, is super important. And like we were talking about earlier, it's so hard because I almost feel guilty when I'm sitting down and doing nothing.
Oh, yeah.
So even when I'm watching TV, which is doing something, but I'm sitting, I'm like, I could be working on some social media content. I could be finding images or working on metadata descriptions, or I could, low-key things that really don't take a lot of mental capacity, but are important and are time consuming.
Yeah.
I think taking that rest allows us the ability to have the mental bandwidth to connect with ourselves, our network, our friends. Like so often, I just want to say, like, to not underestimate the importance of a good connection. And this isn't from the mindset of how can this person serve my business.
Oh, no.
I have mentioned it before and I'll mention it again. And it's probably why I'll remain a broke CEO, but I value relationships over revenue because I just want to surround myself with a supportive network, with mentors, with other entrepreneurs, with friends and family, and provide support to them during challenging times, boost their mental well-being, because ultimately, at the end of the day, it boosts mine.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's overwhelming trying to even fit all of that in. Like maybe one week I have like 2 or 3 friends or a family member need more of my time to support them in whatever's going on in their life. And sometimes that can be stressful and overwhelming. But the desire and passion to have that connection remain strong is important to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, full circle. Self-care is not selfish. All of these things are vital to our overall well-being. We need connection. I strongly believe that we are designed to be connected with at least one other person. Invest in your overall success and happiness by permitting yourself to rest, implementing small changes into your physical fitness routine, into your diet, like what you put in your body. Implementing these self-care routines and practices can lead to a healthier, more fulfilling journey, both personally and professionally, because as we've mentioned on various episodes in various ways, they're all connected in a web. You pull one and the others are going to react.
Yeah, for sure.
You let one go, the others are going to react. It is a give and take, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. So listeners, let us know what you're doing for your self-care in 2024. Share your intentions for the year. We genuinely would love to know. All of the information that we've shared is going to be in the show notes. And as always, hop into our group, subscribe to our channel. Until next time.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Remember, soft skills aren't just some fluffy buzzwords that get thrown around in the corporate world. They're the key to unlocking your full potential as a professional and a human being. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself and seek out opportunities to improve your soft skills. Sarah and I have a variety of workshops, online courses, and complimentary clarity calls for you to practice in real time with us. Links are always in the show notes. And be sure to join us next time for more insights, tips, and tricks to help you succeed in your entrepreneur encounter.